Hey there, gang. I've got some great news. It turns out that Rian Johnson is fully capable of making a movie that's not a complete piece of shit. If you had told me that one of the absolute best movies of 2019 would be a murder mystery from one of the most frustratingly talented directors in Hollywood, there's no way I would have believed you. But somehow, after finally bringing his long-in-development script to life, Rian Johnson has done it. He's created an extremely funny, surprisingly poignant work that keeps you guessing until the final frame. Johnson has assembled a massive ensemble cast full of recognizable faces, and he gives them a surprisingly simple but very effective story to work with. I can't speak for anyone else, but I've never thought to myself, we really need more whodunit movies, and I certainly haven't seen a modern take on the genre with a complete world and setting built from the ground up. Most prior incarnations of this type of film are either created as love letters that are directly inspired by Agatha Christie's novels, or direct interpretations of the books themselves. At some point though, somebody needed to just stop rehashing the same old stories for radio, TV, and film, and just make something new and fresh themselves. We can only handle so many adaptations of Murder on the Orient Express. As for the plot, world-renowned mystery writer Harlan Thrombey is found with his throat slashed the morning after his 85th birthday party. 1 week later, police are doing a second round of interviews with every individual who was present at said party. Not only were there quite a few people, but they're all carrying their own level of dysfunction. This one gives us Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Christopher Plummer, just to name a few. From Harlan's personal nurse who is juggling her difficult family life, to the various siblings and grandkids, everyone has their place in this well-crafted story. When you've assembled a cast this large, it's impossible to fully flesh out every character, but the chemistry between the cast is undeniable. This is a family that's broken in many ways, and they're all mostly terrible people for various reasons that play out. As good as this ensemble cast is, Daniel Craig absolutely steals the show as Benoit Blanc, a private detective with a heavy southern drawl. Craig plays this particular role as a little bit disarming, a little bit awkward, and he serves as a very good proxy for the audience. Blanc is paid by an unknown client to assist local cops with what appears to be an open and shut case of suicide. Obviously, there's more to the story, and Knives Out spends the opening act laying out exactly what played out on that fateful night. The magic here isn't necessarily in the big twists and payoffs, of which there are a multitude. The magic is watching the story unfold through the lives of these constantly obnoxious family members. You're welcome to spend your time trying to solve the puzzle. Did Harlan Thrombey actually take his own life? Did one of the children do the deed for their own selfish purpose? But may I suggest just going along for the ride? This is one to enjoy for the scenery-chewing performances and the surprising sense of humor. I thoroughly enjoyed every single second of Knives Out. This is a movie that could have easily checked out after 90 or so minutes, but the 2 hour and 10 minute runtime was barely noticeable and flew by. This project is a massive departure from Rian Johnson's last work, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and armed with a script he's been working on for years, this one is a clear labor of love. Instead of huge sets, spaceships, and explosions, we're given home offices and expensive living room couches. There are no planets being bombed from orbit, just bickering siblings and entitled brats, talking in hushed tones and claustrophobic stairwells. Johnson also easily could have made this movie into a period piece, but instead opted to set the film in the modern day. We're given references to Twitter, the New Yorker, and KFC. Nobody's traveling around by horse and carriage, but in Hyundais and BMWs. Johnson does inject some of his personal politics into the film, but those parts don't really do much to hurt the story or knock us off course. At least here he does take potshots down both sides of the political aisle, but sometimes a little restraint goes a long way, and sometimes he just can't help himself. So if you haven't gathered from my review thus far, you should absolutely take the time to enjoy Knives Out. All-star ensemble cast? Check. A scene-stealing performance from Daniel Craig playing against type? Check. A fantastic story that trusts its audience to pay enough attention? Check. A surprisingly beautiful and well-shot film with a great score? Check. Knives Out is a movie that will understandably end up on many top 10 lists this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it garner a handful of nominations come award season. Writing a review of an awesome movie like this is harder than writing about a dumpster fire, because at some point I do need to just stop the review and tell you to go see it for yourself. Major kudos to Rian Johnson for breathing new life into a genre that has sadly disappeared from mainstream Hollywood. We need more mainstream big Hollywood filmmakers who are willing to take chances and bring their passion projects to life. Let me close with this. If you forced me to use a couple of words to describe Knives Out, I would choose these two. Pleasant surprise. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, or comment below, and I'll see you next time.